It is a new NFL football season, baby, and you know what that means. I'm back just to yell about whatever the fuck I want.
And hopefully I can calm that yelling down a little bit, but whatever.
My name is Jake. I'm the CEO of Game Changer Sports Network, and with me this season, we have you're over here, Adrian, joining the team. Adrian,
Hey,
how are you today?
dude, I'm excited. It's football season, so I mean, what more can you ask for? There's only 3 weeks of preseason, and then we're getting the real games then.
Man, when they announced the 17-game season, it was pretty obvious we were going to get at least one preseason game cut off.
Yeah, yeah.
At least.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's preseason, so, your established players aren't really playing, especially offensively. You got, Aaron Rodgers not going to play preseason. Devontae Adams not playing preseason. They're like, yeah, no, we're not chancing it that these guys get hurt for meaningless games. So, but there's still some interesting, position battles out there, and I think it's awesome to watch those. I've been paying close attention to those, especially, and we'll see how that kind of goes out in 3 weeks, but we'll see.
Martin coming in with the very first comment of the new year. Jake talking about football. This should be great. Interested to see Adrian's thoughts on the game. So let's talk about some of those position battles right off the top.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we know the Jaguars tight end position battle's over. Tim Tebow didn't make the team, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to break it to you if you haven't heard it yet, but Tim Tebow has been cut. Did that come to a shock?
No, absolutely not. I mean, honestly, look, it's a nice story. He has a connection with Urban Meyer. But other than that, he's literally, he's an athlete. He's not really, I don't think he's built for professional football. One, he was horrendous as a quarterback. Two, I mean, he's decently athletic, but compared to the tight ends nowadays, there's no way you can learn a position in 4 months. So, I mean, it's a nice story. It's a nice add-on for those individuals in Jacksonville being so close to, where he played college ball. And, it hopefully gives attention to the Jaguars, but that was basically it. Really not more than a publicity stunt. Who actually thought he was? So, I mean, at least for my sake, I'm like, yeah.
I didn't see Tebow making the team at all. I did think he was going to make it a little bit further than the 80-man roster.
Yeah, right.
I didn't think it was going to be this early. However, it makes the most sense to cut him now because now every single person on that team knows Urban Meyer isn't afraid to cut anybody.
Yep, exactly.
From a coaching standpoint, it was a genius move for a first-year college-oriented football coach to do something like this.
Right. I mean, it definitely is. But, I think, one, he also probably sat down with Tim Tebow and say, hey, this is, we're going to have to cut you, but also at the same time, this will help long-term with the team, And I think Tebow's such a team player in a sense that he understands that. And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And, he had a failed baseball career, but he's always going to be around sports. That's the thing, whether it's commenting college football. So, dude, just stick to commenting now, get paid your millions, and leave it at that, There's a lot of people that would love to have his job as a commentator. But
me being one of them. Absolutely me being one of them. Will that ever happen? Probably not. Tim Tebow's got a little more experience than I do.
Yeah, I think he might have a little more pull than we do.
My man, Chad, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. He says, what's up, everyone? What did you guys think about the trade? Joe Sherbert to the Steelers. Adrian, I'm going to let you open that one off. What do you think about that trade?
I mean, Joe Sherbert to the Steelers. So Joe has been a very decent, borderline good player as a linebacker. And, the Steelers, obviously, they had a pretty decent defense, at least, pass rush and everything last year. I mean, honestly, I would have rather them trade for an offensive lineman since that's the biggest weakness of the team. And I get it. You're trying to probably replace a couple of those guys that left in free agencies. And I know Ryan Shazers after his injury really left a big hole in that middle of the field. But I think it's one, depth, two, they need somebody who's going to be somebody reliable that they can count on in the middle of the field. And I think overall, it's not a bad move, but I just think priority-wise, it's not the highest priority they should have right now.
So I agree with that point. Absolutely. They definitely need to get back an offensive line after letting all but one of them walk. But Joe Sherbert was fifth in the league in 2020 in tackles with 141. That's a huge number.
Yep, absolutely. And, that's the thing, though. They still have Devin Bush there. I know they're high on. I don't know where they stand with Devin Bush with a trade like this for Joe Sherbert. He's still there, and I know they lost some linebackers. I believe they lost Dupree in free agency. Double check that. I believe they lost Bud Dupree. Yep, they lost Bud Dupree, and so they do need to have additional depth at linebacker. But at the same time, they've had a really good track record of developing linebackers through the draft. I think trading somebody for an offensive lineman and having one of those developmental guys, they have enough leaders on that defensive side that one of these guys can take them under their wing and they'll be fine. But it's the Steelers. I don't know how well they're going to perform this year with a makeshift offensive line. A lot's going to be counted on Roethlisberger, and he's getting up there in age. And the thing with Roethlisberger, though, from what it looks like coming out of camp, he looks pretty good shape. He does not look like he has in the past few years where he literally looks like he's out of shape and just miserable, But we'll see. Obviously, last year, I think, was the most I've seen Roethlisberger just literally dump off short passes. I think one of the games, he had like 45 throws, and he only had like 239 yards. I'm like, what's happening here? I'm so used to Roethlisberger just, sitting in that pocket, moving around a little, and then, throwing a bomb to AB or Martavius Bryant or one of these, old Steelers guys that when he was in his prime, we're just like, oh, he's throwing a bomb. You knew that was coming 4 or 5 times a game, but I don't know how well the arm strength's still there, but I think this season will be really telling if he plays another season after this.
So last year at one point I said that Roethlisberger, and for those of you that don't know, Adrian and me, this is our first time fully having a show together. We don't know what each other said. We don't know what we don't talk about what we're going to say on show, so we can have a real conversation here. So he doesn't know what I'm about to say. What I said last year is that Ben Roethlisberger's new system last year looked very Tom Brady-esque in New England. It was those short dump passes.
Hold on, you're cutting out on my end. Okay, yeah, I missed like 5 seconds of that, but yes. So the last thing I caught was the system looked very Tom Brady-ish in New England.
Yes, exactly. It's pretty much exactly what I said.
So, although I think I believe Tomlin played him for a series, didn't he, this past week? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't think he dressed at all because they versed the Lions, and I know the Lions didn't dress anybody important except Goff.
No. Although I was surprised that Kansas City threw Mahomes out there for a few snaps. I'm like, ooh, that is risky to put your franchise $500 million franchise quarterback in that situation.
The NFL app right now is not giving me any game stats except some dude C. White had 5 receptions for 39 yards for the Steelers. That is the only stat I have here.
I'll pull up mine. Let's see.
What is wrong with the NFL app right now? Is it only that game or no? It's the entire app.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, that made this a little more complicated, but hey, we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
I'll look it up a bit. We'll look it up and we'll find it eventually. But One of the games I really played close attention to was the Dolphins against the Bears. I think that was actually a pretty decent preseason game, and we got a lot of extended time both with Tua and Justin Fields, which was good to see. I think that was one of the better ones where you're looking at a year two quarterback who didn't have the best year last year. If you're getting bed for Ryan Fitzpatrick, you really don't have a grasp of that offense. And Justin Fields to me looked good, and I think for the Bears' sake and for Matt Nagy to keep his job, I think Justin Fields might be their best option to win games. I know they're going to stick with Dalton, but I think Justin Fields will be starting by like week 4, week 5.
It's going to pull the same thing they did with Tua. It's going to be the bye week. That's going to be the plan. My biggest thing with Justin Fields is not how he played, because he played great. It was what he said in his press conference after. My man.
Yeah, you're putting a target on your back, sir.
Sorry. Are versing 2s, 3s, 4s, guys that won't have a job in 2 weeks, and the NFL game's really slow to me.
Yeah, well, you're playing guys that you basically played against in college with these 2s and 3s. Let's be honest. Those guys were, probably the best guys you played in college, and you were already a talent above those guys. So, yeah, it's going to seem slow, but, looking at the Bears' overall schedule, if he does play after the bye, which the bye week for them is going to be after Pittsburgh. But even, if he does get some action before then, you're looking at, if he, let's say week 7, he gets some action, or Dalton gets hurt and he's in the game, you're looking at playing Tampa Bay. You ready for that defensive line to come after you like they came after Mahomes?
I think you hold off till after that.
Yeah.
No matter what, hold them off till after Tampa Bay.
Well, here's the thing. After the bye week, they play Baltimore. That's not any better. Like, if they want to put him into a situation to be successful, I'd play him against, like, I don't know, Detroit.
Yep.
Or New York, or but the problem is bye week for them is week 10. So but I think he starts soon. That the best option, and I as a Raiders fan, I hate to say this, but maybe playing him against the Raiders, because their defense, obviously from last year, was atrocious. Just to kind of give him some confidence, or else he's gonna be back there with not quite the best offensive line, running for his life. He can run, don't get me wrong, but a quarterback's not going to be effective if he just has to run all the damn time.
Martin says, I'm going to give it 4 to 6 weeks before the Bears fans are calling. Okay. Before the the Bears fans are calling for Dalton's head and Fields has to come in. So, first off, we already know Matt Nagy is not a great coach. He is not going to just
He's a great coordinator. No. I mean, shoot, he went back to Trubisky, for God's sakes.
Yeah. It sounds like, Adrian, I'm on a delay for you.
You are slightly delayed.
Yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I was right about that. So, Matt Nagy, no matter what, doesn't make it through this year. I don't care. Nah. They could go 17-1. 16-1. Wow, I really just fucked that up. They could go 16-1, and Matt Nagy will still get fired because he's not the guy to progress Justin Fields.
No, not at all. I mean, from a standpoint, I get it. He came from the famously, Andy Reid coaching line, but he's not Andy Reid. Let's, there's a difference. I think he's a great coordinator, but I don't think he's a great head coach. Same way with, Dan Quinn last year with the Falcons. He's a great coordinator, but as far as head coach and the responsibilities of a head coach, I don't think those two guys can cut it.
Did Herbert play at all?
I don't remember
that I think they sat him completely.
Yeah,
I think him and Burrow both sat completely this week. This is the hardest week. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Burrow, I mean, you see the reports coming out of camp where he is very, very much hesitant to take any contact right now, especially in that lower area.
It's not
I
a good
mean,
sign.
it's not a good sign. It's just a matter of, can he overcome that mentally? I know. Remember when Tom Brady got hurt for a season? After the first couple of weeks, he was definitely very hesitant to take those lower contact.
Don't worry, I
But
remember.
yeah,
Don't worry, I remember.
but I mean, it's natural. It's a traumatic injury, and that's a big part of him as an athlete being able to have a stable base. And when you're scared of people diving at you or trying to tackle you low, you're really not going to be effective. If that's constantly in your mind, it's going to be a rough season for him. Hopefully, I like Burrow. Hopefully he can overcome that sooner rather than later. I still think the Bengals should have taken Penei Sewell, but they decided to go with Jamar Chase, which I know he's a great talent, but I think they had decent receivers. It's not like they were really struggling on that.
They lost AJ Green.
Yep.
And I believe,
but AJ was ineffective anyways last season.
But didn't they also lose Tyler Boyd? Or is Boyd still there?
I think Boyd's still there because I saw a picture one day of a trio of Jamar Chase, Boyd, and T. Higgins.
Yeah, he is. Okay, he's still there. But even so, in this day and age in the NFL, you need 3 solid receivers, not including a tight end. And god damn, who do they have a tight end these days?
Good question.
Is it Uzmajaz still? I probably didn't say his name right, but is it still Uzmuda?
I got that for Cincinnati. But the fact that we don't know their tight end is very telling of who they have as a tight end. So it's like the Saints receiving core.
The first one that popped up was Thaddeus Moss.
Oh gosh, yeah, they're okay. Let's look at the receiver line. They have T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and Jamar Chase, which I think Jamar Chase automatically goes as their number 1 receiver. One, he has a connection with.
That might be a mistake, though. Jamar Chase has looked absolutely terrible in camp right now. Tyler Boyd has the most experience. Make him number 1. Move Jamar to 2 and Higgins into the slot, or 3, depending on how you want to run your offense. And
yeah,
I don't trust
I think that late. No, I don't either. But supposedly the players like him. He's a very player-oriented coach. And obviously the Bengals have been a lot more patient with head coaches. Look how long it took them to fire Marvin Lewis, for God's sakes.
And they still don't have an indoor practice facility. What NFL team doesn't have an indoor practice facility in 2021? The Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey, look, the Raiders have an indoor practice facility. Detroit has an indoor stadium, but let's see, any other super cheap teams? You're right. Lambeau has, or the Packers have an indoor practice facility, but good Lord.
Just to verify, CJ Uzma is the tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals. I was correct. I just could not say his name because I couldn't remember the exact spelling. My bad.
Yeah. Running backs, they still have Joe Mixon. I know he has a little bit of an injury history, which is concerning. And then
don't say that. I just picked him up in my fantasy league. I just traded for him in my dynasty league, dude. Don't say anything about his injury history.
All right, we'll knock on wood for you that he makes it through 17 games. And then they have Samaje Perine and then a bunch of unknowns. So they have, after second guy down, they really don't know what the other 2 are going to bring. But we'll see.
Star power on this team.
No, not besides what they can't do, unfortunately, is have what they did last season, where Joe Burrow was having to throw 35 to 40 times a game. He's just not going to be effective that way, especially with an offensive line that's already shaky as it is. Um, he's gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna ruin this man's confidence with the amount of sacks he's taken, the amount of hits he's taken, just in general, and really having to run for his life and throw 40 times a game. But hopefully they can fix that and really get this running game going. And be a little bit more reliant on Joe Mixon and Perrine to kind of take the stress and all that pressure off Joe Burrow, and at least to keep the defense honest.
This comment right here says it all.
Oh.
Now, Adrian, on your screen, can you see the comments that I bring up?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
Burrow's career is already ruined because the Bengals don't care. It's the Carson Palmer experiment. Carson Palmer had we'll say, average career with his time with Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And then he leaves Cincinnati, which at this point, I think every fucking player that ever plays for Cincinnati needs to just leave Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And he becomes an above average, because Carson Palmer's not a superstar. He's not a Hall of Famer, but he became an above average quarterback when he went to, I believe it was Oakland and then Arizona. I might have those backwards, though.
No, Arizona was after Oakland.
Okay.
But no, he was there for like a season and a half with Oakland. But Oakland was also a train wreck that year. They were actually looking like were going to make the playoffs, but then Jason
Oakland,
Campbell,
a train wreck, never.
Jason Campbell got hurt that year, and that's what prompted them to trade for Carson Palmer, because it was like, hey, we got to make this push. Was that the best idea? Probably not, given the amount of draft picks. I think they gave up 2 draft picks, a second and a fourth, that they gave up for that. But Arizona, he was definitely serviceable in Arizona. He had some decent years in Arizona.
Martin says, when Cincy picked Chase instead of Sewell, I was confused. And if I was Burrow, I would be worried. Even though he has weapons on offense, he'll have no protection. Now, let me tell you why he wasn't worried. Because, and if we look at it right now, what's the new trend that's happening in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen? Matching the college quarterback with the college wide receiver. We have 3 of them right now. 3 of them that are substantial. You have, I believe it's Tua to Waddle.
Yep.
Then you have
Hurts.
Chase and Burrow, and Hurts and
Devontae Smith. Yep. Which, obviously, I think recently you see the trend of college quarterbacks having a little bit more success in the NFL in their first year. And a lot of it has to do with how these coaches are prepping or setting these quarterbacks up, right? They're going through to plays that they're comfortable with, that they've executed a million times in college. They're taking some of those things that they're comfortable with in college and implementing it in playbook and game planning, just to make sure that they can help use that to build confidence. And as they go through the season, they start opening up that playbook, getting some of the concepts that these coaches want to run. But at least now they have that confidence to say, okay, I see what you're saying, and just being able to adjust to NFL speed. Now, has there been anomalies in terms of that? Yeah, Justin Herbert had a great season, but he's also big. He's a 6'6", 250-pound quarterback that can move.
Still didn't deserve Rookie of the Year.
Justin Jefferson. I think Justin Jefferson's going to come out a little bit with a chip on his shoulder after that one.
Oh, he got snubbed. And I get it. Herbert had a great year. I'm not saying he didn't, but Justin Jefferson set rookie records left and right, nonstop, all season.
Absolutely, he saved my fantasy team. So,
so we have a long-term dynasty league, 12 team. Mm-hmm. And the way we have it set up is we have a taxi squad, which is a practice squad. We can put anybody that's been in the league 3 years or less on that taxi squad. I drafted Justin Jefferson and stashed him for last year because I wanted that extra year of control on the top of his contract, and I just called him up for this season. And I expect him to ball.
Hey, you got a number 1 target coming off your basically practice squad.
I have Tua on my practice squad too, and I'm kind of disappointed by that actually.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, having that from a fantasy standpoint, not having to worry too much on receivers, you can focus on some of these other, other key position
Yeah,
players.
well, I had the second pick in the draft, and I wanted to go after Najee Harris, but the guy with the first pick in the draft took him.
Who'd you end up with?
All right. He traded up for the pick, and he's like, I'm taking somebody. I'm like, yeah, of course. You're trading up for the number 1 pick. It's probably going to be Lawrence or Fields or somebody you expect to be good at quarterback. And I'm like, I'm going to get Harris. I'm going to get Harris because I need a fucking running back so bad.
Ooh, I would have taken a receiver, but this is me.
I ended up taking Kyle Pitts with the 2nd overall pick, and then trading for Joe Mixon.
That's not bad. But yeah, I mean,
I'll go more into detail with you later.
Yeah, for sure. I got my drafts coming up. One September 4th, and then August 31st. So I'm trying to get ready for that.
Martin, if you could have not traded that 1st overall pick to anybody that wasn't me, that would have been great. I could have got Harris. I would have been happy, but no, you had to trade it to Joe.
He snaked Najee Harris from you, basically. He literally just snaked him in there.
I'm so mad about that. This league is great, though. It's awesome. We play full defense, too, by the way.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, 45-man rosters with the 10-man taxi squad. So 55-man rosters. It's in depth.
That's funny. Oh, side note, I'm looking at this. I'm still have the Cincinnati Bengals depth chart on here. And the starting right guard for Cincinnati is Michael Jordan.
No, I know it's not the NBA Michael Jordan, but
should we expect greatness from a guy named Michael Jordan?
We can, until you realize he's on Cincinnati, and then he's not going to be good. And they also, I think they picked up Riley Reif too in the offseason, which Riley Reif was the anchor of Minnesota's offensive line last year. Him and Ezra Cleveland.
Yes, they were, and that's a big game. Be a right tackle, at least that's what they penciled him in, with Jonah Williams at left. And Minnesota's going to be relying on Dalvin Cook because they know they can't be relying on Kirk Cousins every game.
I want Kirk Cousins to be good so bad, just because everybody says he's such an average quarterback. I want to see him have that 1 year where he just lights up everybody.
Granted, this is probably the best. He did have Stephon Diggs and Thielen for a good amount of time.
Justin Jefferson, after this season, will be better than Stephon Diggs.
I don't know that. Have you seen his workouts? Have you seen the route running he's been working on this year? The dude is nasty. He took some ankle.
They have to now get ready for the transition of Adam Thielen to the next guy. And Chad Beebe is a great he's a little like Danny Amendola style player.
Mm-hmm.
But Kirk Cousins doesn't know how to use it.
He's a slot guy. That's your safety valve, Kirk. If Thielen and Jefferson aren't open, go to your safety valve here.
Richie says Kirk Cousins, it didn't pop up, my bad. Kirk Cousins is not bad. He just throws interceptions at the worst possible times.
And he can't play primetime.
Yeah, no. I think, what is he, 1-8 all in his career in primetime football? Terrible. Terrible.
Yeah. Don't have him on Monday nights again. How many Monday night games does Minnesota have? Or Sunday night? Let's take a look.
Minnesota.
This is always interesting. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at the schedule. So they got Bronco. Oh no, this is preseason. Sunday 3.
They have October 31st against the Cowboys. That's a primetime game.
That's after bye week.
That's December 9th against the Steelers in primetime. December 20th against the Bears in primetime. January 2nd against the Packers in prime time. So they have 4 primetime games this year.
All right, so whatever Chicago's or whatever Minnesota's record is going to be, it's going to at least include
Add
4 losses.
now. Yeah,
Let's go ahead and tally those up for him.
I think they might be able to slide, not because Kirk Cousins does good. The defense or something is going to do something great, but they'll slide by the Bears.
Yeah, depending on how bad of a train wreck the Bears are. I think if the Bears are not anywhere near contention by week 8 or between week 8 and 10, Nagy's going to be gone already. If they start at 0-4, Nagy's going to be gone already.
Oh, absolutely. Like that. I have a buddy, and Richie says, I want to see Kirk Cousins have a Matt Ryan MVP season. All right, don't bet on that. Don't put your money on that. It's not going to happen. But I have a buddy that's a Bears fan. And the first thing he said when I saw him yesterday was, the Bears won't fire Nagy mid-season. To which my response verbatim was, they said the same thing in Detroit about Matt Patricia.
That experiment failed pretty quickly.
Everything in Detroit fails pretty quickly. Look at the city.
I mean, you got arguably two of the top players ever in their position said, nah, I don't want to do this anymore in Detroit. I'm gone. I'm going to retire instead.
How bad of a franchise do you have to be running for that to happen twice?
Well, when's the last time they've had even a winning season?
They had it's been under Stafford. It was definitely under Stafford.
They had one or two under Stafford, but remember, they went 0-16.
Yeah, that was the year, right? They drafted Stafford that year. After that,
they went 0-16. Hell, the Jets couldn't even go 0-16.
Don't shade Dan Orlovsky like that.
Oh, good. I love his takes, but I'm sorry, Dan. That was a horrible year for you.
The Detroit Lions, since Matthew Stafford came in after the 0-16 year, 2009 they went 2-14, 2010 6-10, 2011 10-6. So we have our first winning season. 2012 4-12, 2013 7-9, 2014 11-5. 15 7-9, 16 9-7, 17 9-7, 6-10-18, 3-12-1-19, 5-11-20. So 4 winning seasons in Matthew Stafford's career.
To do that in Detroit, that's kind of impressive.
He should be in the Hall of Fame. 4 winning seasons, Detroit Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame.
Gosh, I mean, I'm sorry. Now that the Cleveland Browns are somewhat good, or actually getting to the point where they're gonna be good, Detroit's now the official doormat of the NFL. Well, between them and the Jets.
Was that that's gonna be the last one, 2017? Yeah. Okay. 9-7 is indeed a winning record. Richie also said, I knew Matt Patricia was trash when he was dropping linemen into coverage for that.
Oh, gosh.
I remember read that before I popped it up. I was
like,
live.
I look, get trying to outsmart everybody, but come on. Let's use some common sense here. How the hell is a D lineman going to cover somebody? You put him in the middle of the field, you're covering a slot receiver or a tight end. Good luck. Good luck, D lineman. I wonder though, if any of those D linemen went, what the hell is he doing? Why am I gun dropping in coverage?
Probably all of them.
Granted, it's Detroit. So they probably like, okay, this is the Detroit culture. We're gonna drop defensive linemen in coverage. We're, waste Calvin Johnson's career.
Don't mind me. I'm having a headphone issue. Yeah.
Oh. But
trying to fix my headphone.
I want to talk about these rookie quarterbacks and kind of get some of your takes on how they did kind of the first week of the season now. So whenever your headphones decides to work.
Oh, oh,
Better?
yeah.
Uh,
There we go. And the headphones fixed. I have no idea what just happened, but my entire iPad just decided to shit the bed for a second.
hey, happens. We'll
All right.
work through it.
So let me switch me back over here just because our names are like that on the bottom because I did that backwards for some reason. It's always alphabetical first. Adrian should have been in front of Jake, but I have an ego problem, so I had to put myself first.
That's okay. I think I have. If I was in your position, I would probably put my name first too.
I usually don't. I just literally did it while we were live and did it quick, and I thought of my name first. So I'm going to fix that for next week and be phonetically correct. And then we're probably going to switch places next week.
That's fine with me. But
not even next week. We're Saturday.
Yep.
I completely forgot. We're doing Saturday. Guys, we're doing 2 football shows a week. 2.
Football's back.
We're here for this, baby. We are here for it. All right, so you want to get some rookie quarterback talking now. Let's do this.
Yep, for sure. I want to start on probably somebody who's spending a lot of time looking at, criticizing, which is Zach Wilson, who actually had a very decent performance. Granted, preseason and all, but I mean, coming out there, I mean, he went 6 for 9, 63 yards, no sacks. Majority of the throws were in time, in rhythm. And, he didn't have to really, he didn't have to kind of get out of the, what he's known for, at least at BYU, where, when a play breaks down, he's having to ad lib a lot more. Didn't have to really do that too much, but he was efficient. And I get one of the things they probably did for this game specifically, with all the noise coming from the media of how bad he's looked in, training camp, was, hey, we're going to run plays that he's comfortable with to kind of help build his confidence here. Because they know if Zach Wilson looks terrible the first few games, even in preseason, there's going to be clamoring from the New York media saying, why the hell did you take him?
I think that Zach Wilson is going to crumble under the New York media.
Yeah, I
don't think it's going to take long.
No, I mean, you're going from BYU, where you're the man at BYU, to New York, where you're competing for airtime, and New York media will tear you apart. You make one mistake there, they'll be calling your name, to be hanged already.
So Wilson has reportedly, of course, we're not at camp. We don't see what other people see, but Wilson has reportedly, out of the rookie quarterbacks, had the worst camp.
Yep.
Followed by a quick only right above Wilson is Trevor Lawrence. He's not having a good camp.
So, obviously the combo of a rookie quarterback and a first-year head coach in an NFL level, I questioned that decision by the Jaguars significantly, because you're getting this talent, right? Don't you want somebody who's experienced in the NFL to help mold this guy and mentor him along the way? Just me, but I mean, look, Trevor Lawrence game, he did go for 6 for 9, but he also took 2 sacks. That, one, you got to have the maturity, either throw the ball away or just take the loss and not try to do too much. I think with rookie quarterbacks, with how they've been successful in college, they've gotten away with being a superior talent, and they've always found a way to get it done and extend plays and make plays. This is the NFL. Everybody's an extraordinary talent. You cannot, as a quarterback, be giving or allowing your team to take negative yards or negative plays. That's just it. Turnovers and negative plays all are, you look at the quarterback. If they are, taking a lot of sacks, fumbles, interceptions, you're not going to be a successful team. So, obviously he needs to have, some sort of mentorship there, and some individual that can help him along the way. But I'm looking at this comment where college coaches never transition well. We can look at Nick Saban. He didn't have a good tenure with Miami. The only college coach that really transitioned well was Pete Carroll.
I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Carolina. Current coach.
Oh,
for some reason, Frank Reich keeps coming to my mind.
No. He came from Baylor.
Yes. What the?
Yeah, I know.
Matt Rule.
Yep, Matt Rule. Yep.
I don't think Matt Rule's doing a bad job. I think he took over a really bad team.
Yep,
in Carolina.
He lost Christian McCaffrey for a majority of the season. Hey, that's your.
I think Matt Rule is going to be the exception to the current exception to the college quarterbacks coaches don't transition well. Matt Rule's done a phenomenal job with what he's been given so far.
Hey, I mean, with some of the standouts that came in, I think Jeremy Chin looked really good as a rookie on that safety position. They're slowly starting to build talent. Is Darnold going to be an upgrade on the quarterback side? I think that's yet to be seen.
He's not. It's no.
Like I'm willing to give him a chance because of how dysfunctional the New York Jets were during his tenure. Obviously, they literally scraped the front office. They scraped the whole coaching staff. That's how bad it was in New York. Now,
my only saving grace for Sam Darnold is he's out of Adam Gase's, tutelage. And last time we had a quarterback leave Adam Gase, he got like $97 million in 4 years from the Tennessee Titans. And he's now like a superstar quarterback named Ryan Tannehill. Never would have thought that would have happened.
Adam Gase does not do well with having quarterbacks. He's
the quarterback killer.
He is. Like, literally, I think if he's ever in the league, it's like, as a quarterback, I am not going to where Adam Gase is.
So back to the rookie quarterbacks. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Don't worry.
All right, so I had to switch to my iPad completely because both my headphones are dead. That's what happens when you work a lot of hours. So, if we're talking about rookie quarterbacks, we covered Lawrence and we covered Wilson, who are clearly the worst two so far, even though Wilson had one of the better games out of the five. So that leaves Trey Lance, Mac Jones, and Justin Fields. Out of those three, who do you think had the best game?
I think Justin Fields had the best game, honestly. With the throwing touchdown, he looked decently poised in the pocket. He knew when to exit, when to get out, when to run, and when to extend the play. And he didn't try to do too much with it, right? He kept in a comfort level where, okay, you can see the talent there. You can see the potential there, right? As far as even from the first series he had, or the first series that Dalton had versus his Justin Fields' second series, you see why they took him. You see what dynamic playmaking he can add to the offense. And unfortunately for the Bears, they're going to be calling, the fans will be calling his name or yelling for his name to start a lot sooner because of a game like this. Chicago is a good sports town, and they are passionate about their Bears, regardless of how good and how bad they are. So, how they wanted to hang a kicker.
Second football team.
Kind of like how they have two baseball teams.
Yeah. So Fields probably realistically did have the best game, if we're being non-fan-centric.
Yep.
Mac Jones looked the most comfortable in the system he's in, though. And as a guy that talked a lot of shit about Mac Jones, that makes me rather not happy. I don't
are you
want
torn? How torn are you being a Patriots fan and hating Mac Jones at the same time. And
Literally, I don't want Mac Jones. I don't want the Patriots to fail. I want Mac Jones to fail. I want Cam Newton to have an MVP year so we can just trade Mac Jones at the end of the year and sign Cam Newton to a 5-year extension worth X amount of money so we don't have to deal with Mac Jones. But Mac Jones looks way more comfortable than Cam Newton ever has in our system.
Here's the thing, with the system Carolina had with Cam Newton was definitely tailored to fit Cam Newton's game. Josh McDaniels is adding plays here and there, but that system is very much reliant on timing. And sometimes with the amount of ad-libbing that Cam Newton likes to do, it's just not going to look comfortable or the right fit because of that.
The Patriots' offense isn't built for a running quarterback.
Hopefully you heard that.
I did. Can you hear me? Did we lose him? Looks like he froze. So, as I was saying, while we wait for him to figure out what. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the last thing? What's the last thing you heard me say?
I heard all of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, all the way down to the. Hopefully you heard that. So the Patriots offense is not built for a running quarterback. It never has been, and it never will be. So, yeah, as electric as it would have been to see Justin Fields play for the Patriots, it's looking more and more like, because we had no chance of getting Zach Wilson, that Mac Jones was the right pick.
Yep. Unfortunately, which for you I know is really unfortunate, being such a Pats fan. I'm reading this comment, and decision making.
Richie is right on the money with this comment.
High IQ.
It makes me sick, damn it.
And limiting turnovers is probably where Mac Jones is really good at. So, is he overly athletic? God, no. He looked worse than Tom Brady did his pre-draft.
He still runs better than Tom Brady. He looks like Tom Brady looks like a fainting goat. Dead.
But it just goes to show you an amount of money can make you look a lot better. And granted, he also worked his ass off. But granted, his face looks 10 times better than it did even 10 years ago.
I don't understand Tom Brady. Oh, Martin, we have a big Martin. Oh boy. Martin's coming in with a big comment. Be ready. It's all about Mac Jones.
Oh Lord.
Heading into the draft, I was like Jake. I did not want Mac Jones. You should have kept it like that. I don't know. I don't like where the rest of this comment's going, Martin. I wanted Justin Fields or Trey Lance, but after hearing what Mac Jones has done in training camp and what he did in the preseason, Martin, I don't want to read this last sentence. I loved what I saw from him. He looked extremely comfortable in the pocket and made good decisions with the ball. Yeah, he did.
I mean, I think he has for me, Mac Jones has, like, out of all the quarterbacks, least likely to bust because of where he is, right? He's a good decision maker. And if for some reason he's below average, he'll be a career backup. That's his bottom line. If he's above average, he'll be a high level game manager that's gonna keep you on schedule, get you positive yards, and not turn the ball over. But does he add that extra flair as far as what a Justin Fields brings to the table? Absolutely not. But the Patriots have proven they can win with that formula. So,
a way too early prediction. Which of these five? When obviously we know Trevor Lawrence is starting week 1, no matter what. Which of these 5 quarterbacks gets their first win first?
I gotta have to look at schedule on that one. Right, who's in the worst division?
Let me make sure I write this down so we can come back to this question next week.
It's not gonna be Trey Lance because what's this? The Niners are really, backing Jimmy Garoppolo, which they should. Trey Lance needs some seasoning for sure, and to learn at least a year. Zach Wilson's in a tough division, and Miami's decent defensively. Bill kills rookie quarterbacks. And the Bills, good luck facing Josh Allen. He looked phenomenal last year. Jacksonville has
So there's a follow-up question to this one. Now we know again Trevor Lawrence is starting week 1. There's Minshew's getting traded or some shit, whatever. Which of these quarterbacks is the first to start? Because whichever one is the first to start has that leg up on getting that first win.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to get that first win. His week 1 and 2 is the Texans, the Broncos.
All right, so now let's take Trevor Lawrence out of the equation. Now we got these other 4. Who's starting first? Who's getting that first win?
Well, obviously, I think Zach has to start. You don't take a quarterback number 2 and trade your current quarterback for that number 2 pick to sit. And
I don't know
for
about that.
what?
Hold on. If what I'm thinking is correct, which I'm looking it up right now, if what I'm thinking is correct, I wouldn't start him.
I wouldn't either. But let's
it's only
face
if they
it,
have
they
the
don't.
guy I think they have.
I mean, I'm looking at their depth chart right now and just kind of see what the quarterback situation looks like for them. And
no, they don't. Okay, never mind. They don't have Flacco anymore. I was gonna say if
they have Mike
Flacco,
White.
let Flacco
They have
start.
Mike White and James Morgan.
And Josh Johnson.
No, Flacco.
Did he go to Philadelphia?
Yeah, Josh Johnson has bounced around. Yeah, Flacco is in Philly. I watched a little bit of that game and saw him. But like I said, they don't have options in New York.
Mac Wilson. Mac Jones is starting by week 5. Got it. Say no more.
But Zach Wilson, that schedule seems a little rough for the New York Jets.
What if the Jets trade for Nick Foles or Gardner Minshew, just so Wilson doesn't have to start? Because
I think that would be in their best interest.
I don't start Wilson until halfway through the season, no matter what. He's not ready.
No. I mean, he had, even as a rookie quarterback going into week 1, regardless who you're playing, it's gonna get to him. And he has Carolina week 1, which is really interesting because Sam Darnold's playing his own team, which I feel like
Burns is gonna eat him alive.
I feel like Sam Darnold will have a revenge game that first game. He is foaming at the mouth to get back at the New York Jets. And then he has New England. Good luck playing against New England.
That defense is going to be lights out again, especially with the addition of Matt Judon. I'm so happy about that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good addition. He was a stud in Baltimore.
Oh, of all the people I was expecting us to go after in free agency, he wasn't even like remotely on my radar. But hey,
well, half the guys that New England went after wasn't remotely on my radar for New England to go after. So,
well, I didn't expect this. I knew we were going to go after Hunter Henry. Absolutely knew it. Bill's been in love with Hunter Henry since long before this offseason. I had no idea John O. Smith was going to come with them, though.
Yep.
And now they're injured.
Hey, Hunter Henry has an injury history, so let's knock on wood that they stay like somewhat healthy. Like, if one plays 10 games, the other one plays 14, I think you got a good season out of them.
All right, we got 5 minutes left on our very first episode. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you be a friend, tell a friend, let your friends know that we are here talking about the NFL every Tuesday, mind you. Normally, we are going to be live on Tuesdays before the wrestling show. And Saturdays, we are giving you 2 shows every single week throughout the entire football season. And then maybe a little towards the draft. Who knows? We haven't talked about it yet. I'm just saying it now.
Saturday, right?
All right, there you
Saturday.
go.
Are we doing nights Saturday again? Remind me, are we doing nights on Saturday?
Yes, we are. We're going to shoot for the same time, which is going to be, I got to remember with the wrestling show because I made it 1 hour before the wrestling show in Central Time. Martin, you're still here. Remind me what time Eastern Time the wrestling show starts. I believe it's 8 o'clock Eastern time, which means 7 o'clock here, which means football will be 6 o'clock or after at. Yeah, we got to figure this out.
We'll figure out a schedule, but I'm just excited football's here. It's gonna be an interesting season. We got fans actually in the stands this year. Really weird last year seeing no fans in the stands.
8 p.m. It is 8, so 7 p.m. Central. So the football show will either be 9 p.m. Eastern time or 7 p.m. Eastern time, because me and Adrian are both in the Central time zone.
Yep, we are. All right.
We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. We'll get some promotional material going.
So obviously week 1, this is our first show. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and put this on an envelope and lock it in a bolt. Super Bowl predictions, 2 teams.
Oh, wow. You didn't prepare me for this one. I'm going to say the obvious will be, I think we get a rematch of Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Now, if I'm going out on a limb and I'm not trying to be that obvious, Buffalo and the Rams.
That's not a bad pick, honestly. I think anybody that comes out of the West, of how brutal the West is, could win a Super Bowl. For me, I like that Buffalo pick, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that Buffalo team a lot.
All right. Let's put a surprise one on there. I'm gonna go with Seattle against Kansas City.
Ooh. Come on.
Let's put that in a bolt somewhere.
Make sure I get these written down. Because you'll notice I love coming back to things we have said before.
Hey, it's like the time capsule, right? Let's see how bad these takes are in week 17.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible. And then you said Chiefs versus Seahawks. There we go. It's locked in.
I think the Seahawks for the Super Bowl every like 3 to 4 years, so I think it's time.
I think it's time, he says. Richie says Buffalo and Tampa Bay in the. How epic would it be for Buffalo to beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Imagine
that'd be crazy.
The tables.
That'd be crazy, but having the whole team back in Tampa Bay is scary. Literally, the whole team is back. And you know what they did to Mahomes. Granted, that was 2 really bad backup tackles, but Mahomes, I've never seen Mahomes run for his life.
I think it was something like 524 yards were ran in that game total, according to next-gen stats.
Yeah, I still think that throw he made literally, sideways was one of the most amazing throws I've seen a quarterback try to make. I'm like, I didn't know that was possible as a football player. Baseball, I get. Football, that was just crazy. But look, Mahomes is going to be here for a while. Tom Brady is going to be gone in a couple of years. It's going to be Mahomes league after that.
I love how nobody can put a definitive number on that. Tom Brady's going to be gone in, I guess, 4 years.
Hey, look, Tom Brady looks younger than he did compared to when he was drafted, okay?
I know this. The dude looks like he's Benjamin Button. Just end the story.
He is the Benjamin Button of the NFL, literally. Like, when he started his career, everybody's like, oh, game manager. And then he started to really get going. He didn't have the Peyton Manning start where he was throwing 30 touchdowns a season, every season, and he wasn't heralded as that guy, but he just got to the point where you're like, holy shit, this guy is great. But we'll see. He wants to play to 45. What's he now? 42, 43? I
think he's 43.
Yeah. He got 2 more years.
If he wins the Super Bowl, this is his last year.
I think so, too. I think at some point, Giselle's got to be like, what the hell? Come home now.
We have a family, Tom. Remember that. He's 44, so yeah, it's all winding down to this being his last year. But ladies and gentlemen, we are officially at the 1 hour mark. I'm Jake. That way. Adrian. We will be back Saturday night to preview. Well, actually, we're going to be talking about more preseason football because it's all weekend again.
Yep.
So we're going to have games that haven't happened yet. We're going to have games in the middle of playing. We're going to have games that we can talk about. We're going to be all over the place on Saturday. Like I was all over the place tonight for the first time back this season.
Hey,
I'm happy
we're probably going to be doing this with me watching football while we're doing this. So
same thing right there. We will also periodically have another co-host, which Adrian doesn't even know about. We haven't told him. Jay from the wrestling show will be joining us every now and again as his schedule permits to talk football and give his opinions and keep me on track because he seems to be really good at keeping me on track when I go off the rails.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Richard Sherman. I know he's not doing much right now.
Oh, wow. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a great night. Adrian, I'm going to let you know just straight up. Don't sign off just yet because as soon as it closes out, we have a conversation real quick.
Sure.
Have a great night, everybody. We will see you Saturday.